One strategy doesn't make a portfolio. It works in certain circumstances. So I've had to broaden it out. And I've got several different strategies I'm implementing, and each has its own role. I guess in terms of a business, you get to the point where you can't do the work yourself. So you have to
Yeah.
hire people. Now, I don't want to hire anybody, but what I've been able to do is develop the systems around it and the structures so that I just have to do the front end work and then it's just execution.
Right.
So I've got different strategies for different purposes, and I am trying to be as flexible as I can because there's different.
Before we get rolling here, just a reminder to please like and share our videos. Your support helps us to continue to bring you the wonderful content that we share with you each and every week.
Dimensions. There's the time frame, there's the sectors, there's, objectives, and also the strategies of meeting your objectives. So I basically boil it down into 4 different engines in the portfolio. Each has a different role and contribution. And the first is income generation. So these tend to be shorter term. And I've been using futures, BWBs, zero DTEs, and that gets the cash flow going. So you've got steady income, and you can also compound it. I found that that's one of the values of the futures is the ability to compound, but it's on a daily basis primarily. And I'm extending that to more of swing trading. So day trading and the futures is really good for levels, entries, but then you have to get out, and the options carry it on. So it turns it into a swing trade.
Okay.
So it'll continue on. So you do the work once, but you have different expressions once through the futures and then once into the options, and then it'll go for, say, 30 days.
Right. So I'm just trying to break that down a little bit. So you're doing some futures trading like on an intraday basis? Yeah. And then some zero DTE options on an intraday basis?
I do SPX zero TEs, and then for outside of SPX, I will pick certain sectors. Like silver has been very active for the last 3-4 months, so I would get in the futures on silver, but I'd then add on a longer term position on the options and then hold that for 30 days and then follow the levels.
Yeah. Are those mainly just long and short options?
I use spreads mostly.
Like vertical spreads? Yeah, good. Go for the probability. Sure. Nice.
That's the income side.
You said you did butterflies too on the income side. Is that like on index butterflies or?
Yeah, for the income, I like a 7 to 14 DT 63s and any form of broken wing butterfly. I like the broken wing butterfly because I can adjust the deltas and how I see the market moving. So I can make it more vertical or more flat.
Nice. Yeah, I like that about the butterflies too. Yeah.
They're so flexible. The other engine I've got is more the capital growth. So I was looking at some of the high tech companies and the growth in the AI and energy generation, and their equities, small caps. So those are 30 to 60 DTEs, and I would do verticals on those. So that balances out the time frame and the sectors. I like to rotate them on the sectors. And then I've got a long-term engine bucket on, it's really stock replacement using leaps. So
Yep.
I use mega caps, strong Dow Jones industrial type companies like Caterpillar and GE and those kind of companies, and I leave them alone, but that's the intent. And they just keep chugging away, and I get the leverage through the leaps.
Nice.
The fourth bucket is risk reduction. So this is kind of new to me, but I got tired of going to cash when the market would slip. So I wanted to keep my positions. So I've been hedging. So I'm using the futures and BWBs for hedging. And so, like with this last week when it came down, I had BWB on the downside. So when the market went down, the BWB went up, and it was very limited risk. because you can manage that. So that's an example. So I pay a lot of attention to the levels. And I guess one of the most important things was just, knowing your levels and the market outlook that you do every week. I definitely watch that and where you can expect to, where you need to add hedges and where you need to get in. So that's been my activities for the last 6 months to a year.
That's fantastic. And I encourage everybody to listen to what you said about the systems and the buckets and having a purpose for each segment of the thing you do. Listen to Jeff. He's built a lot of businesses, right? And you've made them successful. So he knows what it takes. If you are a more advanced trader, you're focused on concepts and structure rather than, oh, these are the trade rules, right? So very good. I think that's all great advice. Any advice that you have for like newer traders?
Well, for the newer traders, what I found important was just focus on one strategy and master it and do the back testing. TradingView has excellent back testing. You can do that also on O&E. Just again, you talked about reps. That's the secret. You just go hundreds, literally hundreds of back tests until you get to the point where you look at it, you can say, I recognize that pattern and here's what I'll do. So for those starting off, that's what I would suggest. And also,
it's like conscious back testing though, right? Because there's certain, it's like you don't just look at the P&L number and move on, right? You're trying to observe. What are you trying to observe there?
Yeah. So go candle by candle and say, what would I do next? And then see what actually happened.
Right.
And it's important to get the feedback so that you can correct it. So, the thing that makes a real big difference is I think a lot of traders might just do, put the trade on, execute it, put the trade on, execute it. But you need to plan it and have a trade plan first, and then you do it, and then you check it. So you have to measure the results and analyze what happened. And that's where you can get the defects out. And I would say the fastest path to being successful is to get your errors out. So identify the errors, recognize them, and get rid of them. So that's the act part. And then if you just do that cycle every day on every trade, take the time and go through that cycle, you'll get rid of your errors. And that's one thing I found in my trading is I didn't have any trouble making money. I had trouble keeping it.
I think everybody understands that.
So I wanted to get it. And that makes a huge difference because then it's, you stay out of trouble. And that's another thing I've done is I trade a lot less and I only go for the A+ trades.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Having to take a trade. It's like, it's not a good time.
Yeah. So go do something else, walk the dog.
Right, exactly.
Or do some more back testing or paper trade,
right.
Because it can be addictive. And if you need that urge to trade, just paper trade.
Yeah, you can say it's not a good time and you can paper trade for sure. Yeah.